Hey guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whichever applies to you. Welcome back. If you are new here, my name is Julia. I'm a contemporary singing specialist based in Australia, and today we are diving into a brand new Electric Callboy track. I'm always excited when these guys release new music. Their music is usually a pretty good time, so I'm excited to see what they have in store for us with this new track called Revery. Let us not delay any further. Let's get into it.
Hush, my darling, can you see the midnight sun? Midnight sun, close your eyes, it's time to dream. The night has come, night has come. Don't be scared, just let the darkness hold you tight, hold you tight. Tip tap, follow me into the light. I wanna float away, leave my body behind. When I did dive, running to the way behind. I can see the scary faces that's lying in me. When it feels like they wanna run, try to be free. Faces, we see those faces. When they keep on coming back. Can you see those faces? The scary faces. Tell me what you want from me.
Okay. I mean, it's a little less party banger than what we're used to, but it's still kicking along, although the theme is a lot more Halloweeny, creepy, nightmare, almost like Stranger Things vibes. I don't know, maybe it's just the drawings of like what looks to be like a scary place. Maybe that's what's making me think Stranger Things. Anyway, interesting that we started with some child vocals though. That was unexpected. And there is something about children's vocals that when you put it over music like this, definitely sets an eerie tone. So we're going to keep listening. I'll break down a little bit more of what Kevin is doing further into the analysis, but for now let's just keep following them into the darkness.
Tell me what you want from me. Reverie, you take the loneliness away from me. Don't wanna feel like a puppet. I see a leash, I'm gonna cut it. All I need is reverie. You will forever be a part of me. Don't wanna feel like a puppet. I see a leash, I'm gonna cut it. You make me feel alive. When I cannot get away, they are caught in my steps. My fear is the secret that needs to be kept. Together we will face what is lying in the dark. Let's follow the path where the nightmares fall. Faces, we see those faces. When they keep on coming back. Can you see those faces? The scary faces.
Okay, so I already had this thought earlier that there's a lot of variety to what Kevin is choosing to like tone-wise do for his harsh vocals, and I feel like that section just there really demonstrates a lot of that variety. So I'm just gonna take us back, and I'm probably gonna have to like play pause within each of the changes just because they go by really quickly, but we're gonna re-listen to that section and you'll hear the kind of variety that I'm talking about. Some of it's from his main line, some of it's from the layers that they've put in. I think it's pretty cool. So let's re-listen to that section. I can't help but think the sound that's happening on I almost sounds like a sliding dry heave, like, but I can't do it the way that he does. The only times I've ever tried to do any kind of harsh vocals, I just wind up like choking on my own airflow. So the fact that he's making all these shifts and changes sound so easy is amazing to me, but listen for what's happening on the word I. It really sounds like let's re-listen. And again. And then we're going into this full mid. I'm not sure if steps is very deliberately trying to make it wider and beefier or if it's a layer, but this section that we're going into now has definitely got some very cool layers. So we've mostly been sort of sitting sort of around the same pitch zone as far as like perceived pitch, and then in the dark, the layering on that one is coming across as quite a bit darker and wider and fuller. So we're listening for that.
Together we will face what is lying
that tone continues to slide into something that, again, feels darker, which is crazy because you would think of harsh vocals as automatically being a little bit more intense, but he's getting these qualities out of his scream, and we can hear that shift first from that into our mids. We're getting a lot of noise through the top. We can hear these color changes, this shift. And from my understanding of harsh vocals so far, this is usually achieved through an adjustment of the vocal tract. So that could be compression within the pharyngeal wall, the larynx being in a raised or a lowered position, or even like more tilt coming through from some of the other structures that are above the larynx. There's lots of different shapes and arrangements, turns out, when it comes to harsh vocals. But my point is, we can hear that there is a tonal shift. The pitch isn't dropping an astronomical amount. It's more, we get this darkness and fullness towards the end of this phrase, and especially from the layered vocals that he's got going on there. Now that we're listening for it, right, we can hear all those tonal shifts. I don't need to go back over this section. We just went from something super low and wide and full and scary and monstrous to the back into our... Anyway, we're not gonna like play pause for all of these changes, but we can hear it, right? How the tone is shifting, how there's lots of different ideas both in the main line, but then also the creativity for the layered vocals as we shift into something that sounds a little bit more monstrous by the end of each of these phrases. And there's just hints of it in the beginning until we wind up like fully on the main line in that particular vocal choice. I feel like I'm banging on about it because Electric Callboy is such a fun, like, vibe of a group. Like, you would just assume that because they're funny and they're comedic and they have amazing energy that, like, yes, they're all of those things, but please don't forget, like, they're really good at what they do. And this is just like a tiny little, like, look-see on, like, what, 2-3 phrases in one of their songs about those kind of, like, small adjustments that they're doing to get their point across. Anyway, let's continue. We're coming back for it, but I'm not sure if it's a production thing that they've done on the speaking section there, but it almost feels like he's whispering and using his false folds at the same time. I just want us to go back and listen. Sorry, and then we'll keep going.
Follow my call, you've been mine tonight. I steal all your dreams, I feed on the light. I draw your mind in the dark. Just let me find out. You will never own. Just let me find out. Me on the face of what you replace of my eyes, I can't be found. Gonna deny, you're gonna die if you're doing to move.
I'm gonna cut it. All I need is reverie. You will forever be a part of me. Don't wanna feel like a puppet. I see a leash, I'm gonna cut it. All I need is reverie. You took the loneliness away from me. Don't wanna feel like a puppet. I see a leash, I'm gonna cut it. All I need is reverie.
Why do I feel the strong urge to cry? It would seem I have a sensitivity to like fighting your fears and winning. Wild. Okay. Not something I ever thought would be brought to my attention by Electric Callboy, but here we are. I think it was the shift to the child voice back at the end, because we had it in the beginning where it was really kind of eerie, and then having progressed through the song and hearing where the lyrics have gone, and then the sun coming out and the kid being safe, and I'm like, ugh, I can't. I don't know. You guys let me know if those same connections snuck up on you. But holy moly, this breakdown! Oh, I spent so much time earlier talking about vocal choices. I should have waited. I should have waited, because here we just have that on steroids between different things. Not just the choices vocally, but then also the speeds that they go. It's so intense. Oh gosh. Kevin, oh my god. We have to go back because one, they completely led me in a different direction. I was expecting us to go into like a full breakdown immediately after, I think it was a chorus. Where is it? After this section. I was expecting there to be like, okay, we're dropping into the breakdown, we're dropping into the super hype section, and then they're just giving us a little bit of extra time. It's seeming normal, right? They're not, nothing has changed. They haven't sped it up. They haven't escalated in any other way. So by now, my expectations are we going back to a chorus? What is happening here? I'm so used to like the super fast build to be dropped into the breakdown sort of scenario, or maybe at most use of space. This is a lot more space. So, you know, my expectations went in a slightly different direction. And then he hits us with this? Kevin! I'm dying, bro. And I am really, really appreciating the writing for that sort of subversion of expectations. The result is that I really, really enjoyed this breakdown, and I was not expecting it to be fast after that first initial scream into the breakdown. So, you know, musically, I'm having a really good time with this too. I'm yet to speak on Nico's vocals yet in this. I almost feel like the approach with this was not for it to come across as like a super dominant soloist. Even in how the voice was placed in the mix, I almost wanted the main melody line to be a little bit more forward in the mix, so like it comes across a little bit more dominant, whereas there are other layers in that chorus that I was hearing sort of at the same level as Nico's solo line for that chorus melody. So for me personally, the experience for me as a listener is that this chorus almost feels like it's dedicated to being a hook, yes, but it's almost like a brief reprieve from the intensity of the rest of the song. So we have it as a hook. Vocally, it's definitely not as intense as other songs that Nico has had to sing. It almost sounds like it would be an easy sing for him, to be honest, because the setup is not something that requires a whole lot of vocal intensity. It's still sitting up quite high, so, you know, showing off where Nico is comfortable range-wise, but I definitely feel like the focus is on the verses. And then the musical ideas that were attached to the child voice at the end were present earlier in the song, so we still have that almost like tangible sense of storyline there. Again, I don't know if that was deliberate. That's just what my experience as a listener was. We had that coherent thread of the child character without it necessarily having to be a child voice, just by having the chorus approach be like that. Feels really complete to me writing wise. So I just wanted to talk about the writing and the structure of the song as well. But yes, vocally, I hopped on earlier enough about different vocal choices. Generally with harsh vocals, this is achieved by an adjustment in the vocal track. In clean vocals, we can talk about that too, as far as adjustments to influence tone, because often you're working between sort of pitches that are being produced by the vocal folds and then how that interacts within each of the spaces. But for harsh vocals in particular, the size and the shape of those spaces is really, really important, because smaller spaces contribute more to being able to create higher sounds, and bigger, wider, longer spaces contribute to being able to create these lower, beefier sounds. And then you've got like different parts of the vocal tract that can influence the types of distortion, the types of noise that's created. Technique-wise, I do lean a little bit more towards fry scream, but then we had lots of lows. And yes, you can have low fry screams. Just because the pitch is low does not mean it is false fold scream. There's a lot of noise, which I typically associate with fry. I don't know, it's in my head, it almost comes across as like almost like a triangle. A triangle kind of noise, like upper. Whereas if it's a false fold, I generally associate like wider, almost like rectangular shapes with that. This is not like a physiological thing. This is just a Julia's brain likes to attribute the sounds she hears to different things type of thing. So typically with the fry, I hear those higher partials, which makes me think triangle. And then the lower, beefier sounds that we might attribute typically to false fold phonation can be there, but usually, to me, the false fold screams are quite a bit wider than something like your fry scream approach. And truth be told, you can in fact have the setup for a fry scream, but then also have the false folds vibrating as well in the same scream. So kind of like a in-between hybrid. Lots of stuff can vibrate. Lots of stuff can vibrate is my point there. It can sometimes be hard to tell, but he does sound like an absolute monster. But overall, what an incredible song. Like, I'm so used to Electric Callboy just like, you know, pumping out absolute bangers and having a really good time when I listen to their music. And then this one just like swooped straight through and just touched my heart. Okay, cool. And the music video was great. I loved the use of color. The purple, okay, I'm going off on tangents now, I'm so sorry. It's probably best if I just leave that one there today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to give it a like. You can subscribe if you want more videos similar to this one. There are other Electric Callboy breakdowns that I have done, and I'm sure there will be more in the future. But other than that, I hope you are staying safe. I hope you are staying healthy, and I'll see you next time. Bye! We're gonna be checking this out. Callboy has been releasing into their song, and Kevin and almost like the textures that he gets out of his that he's getting out of his harsh vocals. We just went from something super low and wide and full and scary and monstrous to the back into our. Sorry, I'm recording.